We're back. It's party time, Mom. It's Thursday. Thursday, Sarah. Thursday, I tell you.
Yes, it is.
You hadn't changed clothes since Tuesday.
Well, this is Biden's world, and sometimes you just got to rewear the clothes that you wore the other day because you can't afford new ones and you can't afford laundry.
Budget.
Yeah.
Now we're pre-taping. Now y'all know. All the dogs are fine. All the dogs are fine. If you've seen any truck videos, the dogs are fine. Have not asked any ex-wives, but the dogs are fine. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. God, it slipped my mind. Totally slipped my mind. It was totally about you too, Sarah.
Oh, well.
It's totally about you. It'll come back to me, though.
It could be so many different things. I have no idea which direction you're trying to go right now.
So Bernie Sanders, I don't know if you saw this or not. Bernie Sanders predicted that Joe Biden's going to win majorly. Let's first of all, let's remind the world who Bernie Sanders is. Mm-hmm. This is the guy who he's a socialist, and let's call him a communist.
Okay.
I think that's what he'd like to be.
Absolutely.
That's what he'd like to be.
I think that's a fair analysis.
Bernie Castro, we'll call him, who has a couple of houses, a vacation home. And if you'd write a book, according to him, he said this a couple of years ago, if you'd write a book, you could do that too. Of course you could. Yeah.
Sounds like capitalism to me.
Almost. Almost. But if you'd write a book, you could have multiple homes as well. I've written a book. It's not in here anymore. This is what happens when Dave Landau comes in your studio. Things start going missing. I wrote a book called Am I Crazy? This book has actually helped me afford nothing. This is what you call a downward growth spiral business model right here. They gave me an advance on this book, and I haven't seen a penny since 2020. I should write that song. Haven't seen a penny since 2020. So, no, Bernie, it actually doesn't work like that. But remember, Bernie Sanders was the guy who was, he was doing pretty good in the primary that Hillary Clinton won, quote, end quote, won, when the DNC came to Bernie and said, Bernie, yeah, we're gonna let you bow out on this one, okay? Mm-hmm. Well, could you guarantee me she's gonna win? Yeah, she's got it. She's got it. Because they had it rigged, right?
Right.
They had it rigged, people. Let's call it what it is.
Not rigged enough.
Not rigged enough. And then Bernie, poor Bernie, that's the one time in my life I sort of felt sorry for the old guy. Then and at Donald Trump's inauguration, and because he became a meme.
Yeah.
Mittens.
With the mittens.
Mittens Sanders. This is a guy who, they trampled on him. They walked on him just to get him out of the way, right? But now they're going to trot his old ass out here to tell you that Joe Biden's old ass is going to win this election in 2024. So maybe Bernie actually knows something about the way these things get rigged. So it'd be interesting if you think, hey, maybe Bernie's got an inside scoop when he says he's going to win majorly.
Especially when you consider the fact that, like, there's literally no way that would happen.
Zero.
Despite, other than some sort of a
zero
fudging the numbers.
Zero. See, I have to believe, and I'll play the clip for you here in a minute, but I have to believe that, you have certain states that are trying to take Donald Trump off the ballot, which is bullshit. But they're doing that. You have to believe that, let's say Donald Trump, let's just say he met with an untimely assassination tomorrow. According to Tucker Carlson, he says that's coming. Well, let's say that happened. That would be bad enough. But let's say just Donald Trump just says, you know what? Quite honestly, I think I've had enough. I've had enough of all of you people. I'm going to Bermuda. I'll not be back. I just bought Epstein's Island. I'm going to live there. We're going to turn it into a vacation home. And he's out of the presidential race. I have to believe that Republicans would rally around somebody, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Somebody.
Yes.
And say no matter who it is on the Republican ticket, that's our guy. Mm-hmm. If Joe Biden pops off another 81 million votes, I'm moving. Like, I don't know, Serbia or something. I'm out. Someplace with some family values, at least the mockery of the facade, I should say, of having some form of values left, this is no longer America.
Right.
Because you can't tell me Joe Biden gets another 80 million votes when 75% of the Democrats polled and Democrat-leaning voters polled say, we got to get a different candidate.
Mm-hmm. Well, even if that were true, let's say that were true, that Joe Biden would get all the Democrats on board, because the Democrats are very good at being cohesive and saying, okay, we're all in this. Republicans are busy squabbling in public, and Democrats are like, no, we're just going to stick together and get things done. And they've been largely successful at that. But even so, our climate is too divided right now I don't think any candidate will win majorly.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. We are way too divided right now as a country for anyone to win majorly right now, I think. Take the rigging out of it.
That's the thing.
I just don't think that that's possible for anyone right now.
Yeah. Now, all right. While I formulate that thought, play that clip. Clip number 4. Play it.
You support President Biden 100%. You've made that clear. But for any reason, if President Biden decides not to seek the Democratic nomination, is a run by Senator Sanders for the nomination on the table next year?
Oh, gosh.
Bob, I think we spend too much time speculating. I think President Biden is going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party. And I think if he runs on a strong progressive agenda, he's not only going to win, he's going to win by a strong vote. And I'll tell you why. Because when you look at a Republican Party, it's not only that you have a former president who has been impeached twice, indicted 4 times. These are people who deny women in this country the right to control their own bodies. Really? God. Is that where we are in 2023? Not recognizing the reality of climate change, wanting more tax breaks for billionaires? That's what their agenda is. So I think that in any kind of serious campaign, President Biden and the Democrats will do quite well against that reactionary agenda.
Yeah, but the thing about that is, Bernie, look at all. I love it when they come out there and they say, well, he's been indicted 4 times. Mm-hmm. He's been impeached twice. Yeah, because you guys trumped up a damn banana republic bullshit charge against him and then ran with it because, to your point about the Democrats being cohesive, they were like, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to push it through. Yep. We're going to push it through. Can you imagine? I mean, Donald Trump, back to his point, let me make that one. Donald Trump is the most intensely scrutinized and investigated person in the history of the world. And all they could come up with is some documents in the bathroom or a phone call about saying, we need to find 11,000 votes. Or accusing things of saying, I mean, when he says, hey, listen, we're going to be peaceful, we're going to be controlled, right. We're the party of law and order, and then they're going to try to bring him up on charges, of sedition, which, 14th Amendment, you can't run because you've been accused or you've been convicted of this. Adam Schiff, of all people, Adam Schiff, who had overwhelming, undeniable evidence of Russian collusion. That guy should be in jail. Mm-hmm. But again, bunch of pussies that call themselves Republicans in Washington, D.C., they're not going to do anything about it. Kevin McCarthy's spineless. I mean, that guy's got a dildo inside of himself right now. It's on high. And he's going, we got to do something about it. Surely we move forward with impeachment. So while Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, is getting roto-rootered, America's going to hell. So Adam Schiff is going to say, well, he's got to be brought up on the charge for the violation of the 14th Amendment. Donald Trump can't even run. All these things. I mean, we don't have anybody other than Ghislaine Maxwell off of Epstein's Island. I mean, really, we don't have any indictments there. Just one person out of all that deal. I mean, surely Donald Trump, being this evil, horrible real estate mogul from New York City that got skyscrapers built and built quickly, surely he's had some kind of corruption in his business life that you could point to and be like, yeah, look what all he did. I mean, he's dancing over there with Jeffrey Epstein, a couple of billionaires hanging out at the club with white man overbite, doing cocaine, dancing with strippers, and you're going to go, oh, look, he's with Epstein. Everybody in the video's of age. Look at him. He's got his daughter on his lap. He says he would date her. There's none of that, really, that you can prove that says, I mean.
Did he ever take showers with her?
Did he take showers with her? Because Joe Biden did. Joe Biden did, according to his daughter. Right? I mean, did he get money from China? Did he get money from Ukraine? Did he get money from Russia? Joe Biden did. Pedo Joe did. Pedo Peter did. I mean, did he have to use a pseudonym in order to have email correspondence with, nefarious players in Ukraine when it came to his son being a part of that? Why is his son copied on those emails? Mm-hmm. Again, you can sit there and say, well, he's been indicted 4 times and he's been impeached twice, and so it's horrible, he's terrible. So is Joe Biden, the most corrupt family in American politics, probably in the history of America.
And here is how cohesive and strategic the Democrats are. They're like 20 steps ahead of us, because what they did with that Ukraine phone call and impeaching him set the stage for every single thing that's happening now. Because what are Republicans saying? Yeah. Well, we can't impeach. We don't want to be like them. Well, this time, there's actual freaking evidence, which the Democrats knew there would be, which was why their play was to turn you into, gaslight you into thinking, well, they did it, so we can't, even though they also knew it was going to be true this time.
Right. They knew it. They've always played that card. They've taken what they're doing, accuse you of it, make you guilty.
Yes.
Gaslight everybody.
Yep.
So you're not going to speak out against it.
Right.
And by the way, I'm going to talk about this when it comes to January 6th, because this is the exact same thing happening with January 6th. And I'm going to say some things that are probably going to get me in trouble in the next segment. But I want to say them because before God, I got to say them. And so they're
20 steps ahead.
They're 20 steps
all the
ahead.
Time.
There's no doubt about it. And so they accuse you. It's Saul Alinsky. I mean, it's the whole thing. And they're in warfare. They know that. Because again, they not only don't care if you're part of American society, they don't want you a part of American society. They actually want you dead.
Yeah.
They want you off the map. The fact that the Twitter Riris are out there celebrating people getting 17 years, prosecution wants, what's his name, to get 33 years in prison for a victimless, nonviolent crime. Are you shitting me? And you're going to celebrate that? They don't care if you live or die. No. They don't care if the most innocent among us dies. I mean, Bernie Sanders right there. A woman's ability to handle her own reproductive rights. That is called murdering an unborn child. Let's call it what it is. But we're not cutting the dicks off of children, and we're not claiming that men can menstruate. Fact check the shit out of that. But they will fact check you on it. Mm-hmm. If I sit there online and say a man can't menstruate, they'll fact check me. Readers have added context. F*** them. Man can't menstruate. You've said it a million times. What you bleeding out of, bitch?
You need to go to the doctor.
What you bleeding out of? Maybe you need to take that Kevin McCarthy-sized dildo out your ass.
Yeah, I believe that's called an anal fissure.
Yeah. Got that Briggs and Stratton motor, man. Got that pull string.
I'm shocked this whole time you haven't pulled out your...
Damn it. The Chad Pads Vagodilator. Right there. Listen to it, people. There it is. Oh. That's what Kevin McCarthy, that's the hum. You know how people have noisemakers in their bedrooms to help them sleep? Some people hear the ocean. This is what Kevin McCarthy hears in his head every night as he dozes off. It's the sound of a dildo in his ass. I mean, how else do you explain that big of a puss? It's got something in it.
You must.
I mean... God, my mother hates me right now. Oh, God. All right, Vladimir Putin called the U.S. dollar's drop in dominance, quote, objective and irreversible during the recent BRICS summit in South Africa as Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa formally agreed to use local currencies instead of the U.S. dollar. It's the first shoe to fall, folks, and as demand for the dollar weakens, the buying power of the dollar weakens with it. That's why Birch Gold Group is busier than ever. Investors and savers are looking to harness the power of physical gold held in a tax-sheltered IRA. Text CHAD, I spell it, Chad, to 989898 for your free info kit on gold. See, the way it works is you type the number 989898 up there where the phone number is, and then you text the word Chad to them. And they're going to send you an info kit for free, no obligation. They got thousands of happy customers, an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews. You can count on Birch Gold to help you navigate transitioning an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. As the U.S. dollar continues to receive pressure from foreign countries, digital currency, and central banks, arm yourself with information on how to protect your savings. Text Chad to 989898 to claim your free info kit now. We'll be right back. All right. I was going to go something light, but I don't want to yet. I want to stay in that same vein. I want to talk about this January 6th thing.
I pissed you off.
No. Yeah. So.
I got you all pissed.
You don't know me.
I kind of do.
You don't know me. Here's my issue. So they started handing down this past week. They started handing out these sentences, 17 years for nonviolent, victimless crimes. And then you have the Riris, Krasenstein brothers, and these assholes that you understand. These are political operatives that call themselves journalists. They're extreme left-leaning guys. They phrase all of their stuff just to piss you off, so you'll respond to them, so that they'll get paid by X and Elon Musk. That's the whole thing. They don't believe in anything.
Yes. Stop responding to them.
So don't comment on their crap, whether it's Chris Mowry or Harry whatever Sisson or the Krasenstein brothers. They're baiting you into talking. Then they get paid off of that, okay? So don't get them paid. My 17 followers on this show, please, if your time is better spent going and leaving a rating and review for this show, all right? Maybe. But they want to say, 400 people have died. 7 police officers committed suicide. They go into all these numbers. Billions of dollars of damage. You don't bother to talk about BLM like that.
Right.
You don't talk about their summer of love. You don't talk about the billions of dollars of infrastructure destroyed. You don't talk about the lives destroyed, the people who were killed. You don't talk about this mass initiative on the part of a narrative-driven agenda that's called BLM that was stealing money from people who were donating to it, so that their founders, quote unquote, and weren't their founders, but the people who are running it in the name of their founders were out there buying mansions in white neighborhoods in California. You don't talk about any of that stuff. No, these people, they went to overturn an election on January 6th in Washington, D.C. They overtook the Capitol. Not a single one of those people were armed. They went in there with selfie sticks and flagpoles. Now, Joe Biden said, you can't take over the American government without an F-14. He said that. You remember that? Mm-hmm. I do, because I made a T-shirt with an F-14 on it that said, shall not be infringed. I liked that T-shirt. They go in there unarmed. You got thousands of people that are there on January 6th. And there's people who do something stupid. They get caught up in the wave of the crowd. They get fired up. Emotions are running high. Yes, guess what? There were feds planted there. There was Antifa planted there. There were activists that were leftists that were planted there. There were instigators there. There were people throwing, stun grenades into a crowd of people who were not doing anything. There was tear gas that was being used. They created a melee. And in that, where tensions were already running high, some people went in the building. Nobody wants to talk about Ray Epps. Nobody wants to talk. I mean, that guy's he's living with his wife. He's at home. Mm-hmm. Nobody's investigating that dude. I've seen video with my own 2 damn eyes. I didn't have to watch Tucker Carlson to get it, of him sitting there saying, here's what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. Here's what we're going to do. What happened there? But no, these guys out there, well, they were members of the Proud Boys. That right there, that's your problem. You see all these guys, these are these crazy nationalists that are probably white supremacists that are out there trying to pull down America. I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but Mike Pence wasn't sitting on top of a box of ballots. Like, they couldn't go in there and be like, okay, we got 121 million ballots here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in here with a number 2 pencil. And we're going to change that bubble on the Scantron over to this bubble, and everything's going to say Donald Trump. We're taking it back. It was filed electronically. There was nobody going to go in there and hack the computers in the skiff and be like, we're going to change this thing around. We're going to overthrow the election. But they had a gallows out front for Mike Pence. It was 4 foot freaking tall. They were going to hang him from it. I don't know if you guys know this, but in political protests throughout our history, people have been burned in effigy. Mm-hmm. Everybody's been burned in effigy. What does that mean? They create a doll that looks like George W. Bush. They set it on fire.
The left has done it many times with Donald Trump as well.
Many, many times. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like holding a human head up there and blurring out the head and then going, oh, look, that's Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. But, it wasn't Donald Trump. She's just holding up a head that looks like Donald Trump. A bloodied, severed head. That's okay. That's not a threat to anything. I mean, forget the fact that any time an election didn't go your way, you leftist, progressive, sucking whatever. You guys went into federal buildings, too. You guys went into federal buildings. You guys, I mean, anything from Portland, Oregon to Washington, D.C., you did it. You want to go look it up anytime you want to do that. You guys did it. Not to mention burning down cities and just rioting in the streets. No, you guys have been a threat to democracy, undermining democracy, because protesting actually has been a part of American history, and there's something to be said about that. But they did it in the Capitol building. So now you got everybody that was, within a quarter mile being raided by the FBI. My friend Nate Hughes, who I do business with, by the way, 76forever.com. He's my distributor. Just as last week, the FBI comes and raids him.
I could not believe this.
And then they come in with 9 cars, guns ablaze into his home, and his girlfriend, who just had a miscarriage. They go in and raid his house. I mean, they're Gestapo craziness, brown shirts. It's insane. And they're going to go in there, and I'm texting some guys, the other morning, and I'm like, so what's going to happen with Nate? And they're like, he'll be fine. I said, did he go in the Capitol building? No. He was just there. And then you guys are going to celebrate that people are getting 17 years in prison? You're okay with the fact that it's a travesty of justice and a judicial tyranny exercise to say we're going to hold these people in solitary confinement without charge for 2 years? Say, well, seven cops committed suicide after that. You don't know why they committed suicide. You don't have a clue why they committed suicide. You can't tie that to that. And again, these people are nonviolent, victimless people. They didn't have anything to do with a cop committing suicide. Oh, so-and-so died in this thing. Well, Ashley Babbitt got shot in the throat. And the other lady got beat to death outside the tunnel. But again, they weren't part of that either. And you guys are going to be okay with that. Let me tell you why. And I'm talking about people on the left are okay with that. Because one day the pendulum's going to swing. The fucking pendulum's going to swing. And that tragedy of justice, as alongside the travesty of justice, unfortunately, there's people out there. You have lit a fire underneath some people that it is going to go very, very wrong for you one day. It's not a threat. I'm not threatening you. I wasn't there for January 6th. You can all kiss my ass. I know people who were, tweeting pictures from the Capitol building. I'm like, you might want to not do that, because it was stupid what they were doing. Again, you get caught up in the melee, you do some dumb stuff. But, Sarah, when that pendulum swings, you don't want to be living in the America, because here's the thing. The most dangerous man in the world is the man who's got nothing left to lose. And they're taking people's rights away, they're taking their voice away, they're taking things away that people will never get back. This is why, last week there was a 22-year-old kid killed himself. Yeah. Because he's under investigation for January 6th. He knew there was no way out. He killed himself. Are you guys okay with that? I mean, tell me something, Ed Krasenstein, Brian. Are you okay with a 22-year-old kid who killed himself because he's being investigated and has nowhere to go? Are you okay with the people who've got to spend, sell their house, got to get rid of everything they own, can't even get married because now they were engaged, but now they can't get married because now if they get married, their wife's going to be brought in on that. She's going to be held responsible, too. They got to spend $350,000, $500,000 for legal fees. I mean, more money than they ever pay back for the rest of their life, while the American judicial system, the federal government, has an endless, deep, black hole supply of legal to come against them. You can't fight that. You can't fight it. And you're okay with that type of justice? That's not a justice system. That's not a judicial system. That's not democracy, and it's certainly not a republic. So you're okay with that. You're telling me you're okay with that type of America being run? Well, they shouldn't have done it. Well, you should have been fucking born. How about that? Because your level of ignorance has screwed up this country so bad that now people they've had their voices taken away. They've had their rights stripped from them. They don't feel like they have anywhere to turn. And so what happens now is fucking violence. Violence. And you want it. But the thing is, you don't fucking want it. Because you know what? If 10,000 people would have overrun the Capitol that day armed with your AR-15s, your sacred fucking guns that you want to take away, it would have been a whole other level of shit show. But they didn't do that. But now you've taken all their stuff away, raided their homes, investigated them ad nauseum, and put them in solitary. And so now people who already felt like they didn't have a voice in 2020 They know for a fact they don't have one. And so there's a lot of people out there, they'd rather die than live in that America. So you fucked up. You fucked up. And it's going to come back around. And it sucks. Sarah, it sucks.
I agree. Look, that's the only way out of this, unless they just decide to get their act together.
Yeah, they're not going to.
No, and I mean, you or I don't say that lightly. Like, I'm not saying I want it. I know you're not saying you want it. I don't want things to get violent. It's just like the natural, like that is how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
If they keep this up.
I just want to be able to go next week and do a weekend of shows in Kansas City to a sold-out crowd every night and have fun and get paid for doing it. Laughs, yuck it out, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I don't have to worry about the Republic burning to the ground. I don't have to deal with the Twitter Riri or the Facebook Riri that wants to come at me and be like, oh, you're coming to Kansas City? Finally, you and I are going to get a face-to-face. No, the f*** we ain't. You better hope we don't. Because if you coming at me the way you coming at me behind your keyboard, apparently you didn't hear what happened at the show in Joplin, Missouri, bitch.
Oh, my God.
That dude's still trying to find his teeth outside in the street. Don't play that shit. Because you done pissed us off, man. You done pissed us off. And you want to sit up there high and mighty, the Krasenstein brothers, and be like, do you really think, is this a charge that is too strict, too harsh? Yeah, bitch. It is. It is. And there's a lot of people out there that are sick of it. Then you're going to trot these whatever neo-Nazis out over the weekend in Florida and be like, oh, look, white supremacists and Nazis. Oh, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but any of the white supremacists out there in the deep South, they missing teeth and ears. These guys had fresh T-shirts out of the box that matched one another and a new pendant of a swastika. That ain't the way it works. No. That ain't the way it works, y'all. And, I mean, you know, they dug that one dude up out of the pits of hell that's tattooed from all the way to the top of his head. I'm like, okay, that's a costume I can buy. I can see where that's coming from. But you want to trot it out and be like, see, you guys always say it's Fed boys. Well, it's got something to do with the federal government because I don't believe that those guys are that organized. I'm not sure Cricket Mobile is you know, up to date with their service plan on some of those guys. I'm not sure Cricket Mobile reaches back into the swamp that deep. Well, why don't y'all condemn it? Why doesn't Joe Biden condemn it? They're voting for him. Yeah. They said they want to vote for him, and they want to support Ukraine. So, y'all done fucked up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm just telling you. I don't care if you like my language or not. I really don't give a shit anymore.
We could tell.
I don't give a shit no more. I mean, if I'm gonna die for it. I mean, if I go to war because of some Riri. I get forced into it. I'm a peace-loving, happy guy. You know, Buffett beaches, bitches, and beer. That's my life. I just want to chill, man. Eat good, drink good, have a little sex. That's all. Make a little money. Which I've learned if you can make a little money, Sarah, you can eat good, you can drink good, and have a little sex.
It's true.
I don't want to fight nobody.
Yeah.
I don't mind stirring the pot, but I don't want to fight nobody. Because look at this. Look at his face, boy. These teeth are fresh, boy. Been brushing these things my whole life. These are real. They're real teeth. People don't believe it.
They don't. They don't believe it about mine either.
I know. So much about you is fake, Sarah.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying, if they've dragged me into that fight, I ain't going in going, praise Jesus.
Right.
I'm going to have some language for you.
Right.
When I'm stomping that boot through your forehead, I ain't going to be praying for your salvation. All right, you probably heard about liver health formula. Of course you have, because I keep telling you about it. They've sold over 2 million bottles of that stuff. You know why it's so popular? Because the American Liver Foundation says that 100 million Americans have fatty livers. That's you and me. So it's not surprising that many folks are searching for help. And people nowadays throw everything at their livers, the GMOs, the cholesterol, alcohol, the toxins, the Tylenol, the statins, the cigarettes, all the stuff that Sarah does. That's why so many of us have a sluggish, fatty liver that makes us gain weight and feel tight. Girl, you know you guilty. For decades, your liver has helped you with over 500 key functions daily. It's time you help your liver. Liver Health Formula is an all-natural supplement which contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that can help recharge and protect your liver. The listeners of my show can take advantage of their special offer. Try Liver Health Formula and get a free bottle of omega-3 to keep your heart healthy. Join the happy customer list by visiting getliverhelp.com/Chad and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Chad. Be right back. Make sure you guys are there. Just, hey, there you are. I don't know if you saw back over the weekend this thing. Man, let's just play the clip. I love this clip. Play clip number 6, guys. Play clip number 6.
Honestly, don't know what to do, but there was a really bad experience. Basically, I was just getting a drink at the bar, and they called both Azul and I ladies. After they were done making the drink, I went up, and I was like, some people don't refer to themselves as ladies, but it's okay that you didn't know. And in a gay bar, somebody should feel safe. Too bad, turned it around. They got so mad at me, and they took the drink away from my wife and I. He hit the bar, because he was like, are you serious? You're doing the same thing to me. How? And then they kicked us out. I didn't think that was gonna happen. How am I supposed to feel? This was the first time that I've told somebody I felt brave enough to tell somebody my identity. And I just wanted to let him know, and I told him it's okay that you didn't know. He was still mad at me for being myself and for my wife being themselves. Just hurt. We were kicked out so fast. And I tried talking to the other person. He came over and was like, what's going on? It was another straight white man. When I told him he's just not respecting our identity and I don't understand why. And he was like, you know what, just leave. And I got kicked out of a bar. Technically supposed to be a queer bar, but it's just gay white men. Yes. Oh my God, it was supposed to be a positive experience. I felt so embarrassed. I wanted to. Yeah.
I could watch that for hours.
I know. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh, she's still going.
Imagine if I didn't accept you for just being gay, dude.
What?
Are you serious? And he's told me, I'm being a gentleman calling you a lady. That's not something bad. I'm just sharing that part, and I just wanted you to be okay, sorry.
What would you like?
What would you like to hear? And it's not like we even talk a lot. It felt like a dad, yelling at you. Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna have some water, and I'm okay. It's just hard.
One more thing that I wanted to add is that he yelled at my wife and told them that he sees us as ladies, and so he will always refer to us as ladies. Bye! And at the end of the day, transphobia within the community is so disgusting.
So she wants to be a guy, right?
I came out of this watching the entire thing, and I have no idea what biological
I think
sex.
that's a biological female who wants to be a guy. So I want to see her topless. I don't know why she's wearing that tank top.
But she's wearing makeup and
And
girls' clothing.
the tank top, and her hair's done. And it's there at the end, she's got that little tank on, that little strappy tank. And I'm like, pop it off, sister. Fella. I want to see what them titties, what your chest looks like.
I'm so, imagine ranting and raving like a lunatic for that long, and at the end of it, nobody knows what your point is.
All right, ladies, here's the deal. Let me give you some lessons from Chad. If you want to be taken seriously as a man, first of all, don't have a gay man friend come and console you. He doesn't know how.
Or was that the wife? I don't know.
Nah, I think it was a gay guy.
It's unclear.
Because she says to him, we live in a f***ing clown world. She says to him, what if you like me tell you? I don't really identify you as a gay man. She says, so I'm assuming.
She was talking to him. Okay.
Snot bubbles popping out and the whole stuff. See, here's the way I would have consoled him.
They?
Because she reacts, although she wants to be identified as a man and not be called a lady, this week.
Yeah.
She wants you to confirm that she's a man. So here's what you do. You say, buddy, at least they threw you out of the bar like a guy. You should, the words were tough, but at least they tossed you out of the bar like a dude. You should be happy about that. And she'd be like, maybe. Yeah, maybe. You're like, yeah, bitch. Come on, fella. You got this. You got this.
You know what this shows me? That there really is going to be a divorce in the LGBT community.
Huge. Nobody's putting up with that shit.
No, the gays are like, we're not doing this anymore.
No.
You're making us look crazy,
listen.
and we're not going to do it.
Any gay person I know personally would look at this the same way.
Yes.
And be like, okay.
Yes, they all think it's madness.
Even the guy over her shoulder thought it was a joke. He's rubbing her hair going, what would you like to hear, honey? Look, bro, we know you've been handling the conditioner too long as you've been rubbing the perm in people's hair and it's probably seeped into your pores. But, what would you like to hear, honey? It's like Tattoo from Fantasy Island. All grown up.
That look that he, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That look that it just gave. Yeah, that one.
Like,
it's like, oh, here she goes again.
He's like, he's tired of hearing this shit.
Here she goes again.
Oh, she's not done. She's like, bye.
There it is.
Look at him. He's like, I thought we were taking a selfie.
I was not prepared for this shit.
No, he's like, whoa, I met a new friend. Shit. You know who he's not going out to the bar with anymore? The guy that keeps getting kicked out. That dude is trouble. I got kicked out of a bar in Little Rock, Arkansas one time. They literally threw me out of the bar.
What'd you do?
I didn't cry about it or anything. I kind of laughed when I hit the street. I laughed about it. They had these displays. They had like these big glass walls with these big, beautiful bottles of vodka stuck in them. And like the vodka bottles were the decor, like you could see through the glass wall. And so I thought it would be a good idea to steal one of the vodka bottles and shove it down my pants. I've never stolen anything in my life, but I just want to see if I could get away with that. And they saw me and probably knew I didn't have elephantitis or that big of a dick to have a vodka bottle down my pants. And so 6 of them grabbed me. One of them reached down my pants and pulled the vodka bottle out and said, "What's this?" I said, "It's vodka." And they threw me out. End of the street, Little Rock, Arkansas, which I'll be in Little Rock in a couple of months at the Looney Bin.
But not at that bar.
I'll go back. But they did. They threw me out. And I didn't cry about it.
Wow. And you didn't post a TikTok about it?
And nobody said anything about me being a man or a woman.
Wow.
I laughed. I was glad I didn't go to jail. I was happy about that. All right, guys, we've been partnered for a long time with Relief Factor. When Relief Factor came along to the Blaze years ago, they had this unknown anti-inflammatory that they tested in their hometown and found out that it worked. It had this remarkable ability to reduce pain for different types of chronic ailments. I use Relief Factor. I love it. It's an all-natural alternative to pain medications. I don't take it every day, but I take it a couple of times a week, and it works, and it keeps me pain-free. Inflammation is not only the chief cause of pain, but it's also a factor in many other diseases, and Relief Factor will always work to keep your inflammation markers in check. Hundreds of thousands of people order Relief Factor every month. About 70% reorder it because it works. And you can order a trial pack now for only $19.95. See if it'll work for you. Now, what I need you to do is go to relieffactor.com, or you can call them on the phone, 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF. Relieffactor.com. Feel the difference. Be right back. Y'all been keeping up, Brandon, have you been keeping up with that Burning Man stuff?
I have. It sounds like literal hell. It's probably the last place I would want to be trapped in a mud storm is Burning Man.
They're probably sacrificing humans at this point. Probably engaged in cannibalism. They're like, finally, we got our chance.
Oh, I assume it was going to be a Lord of the Flies situation within 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be barbecuing Piggy, and Piggy and a pig. And again, we're taping this early in the week. This is airing on Thursday, but we're taping it on Tuesday. So who knows? Who knows what's happened in the last 36 hours since we talked about this, or in the next 36 hours since we've talked about it. But when I saw this thing, like, first of all, it would never entice me to want to go to anything like that anyway. Like, I'm just not a big fan of crowds. I like being on the stage while there's a crowd in front of me, but I don't like being in crowds. And so being around that where people are on hallucinogenics and setting things on fire and stuff like that, I'm probably, and I don't know any of the music. Not really my thing, which, free sex and all that. I don't know. Maybe I'm listening. But, there was everything from the speculation of this being an Ebola breakout to, no, they just got 0.8 inches of rain. And in the desert, that makes a big difference. And flooded them out, mudded them out, whatever, and these people are stuck. Play clip number 5.
Hey, could you please stop? Could you guys stop with all of this nonsense? I am here on the playa at my hospital, and everybody's okay. There is no Ebola. Someone said somebody tested positive for Ebola. We don't even have the capability to run a CBC. You think we're going to do Ebola, which is probably some sort of send-out? No. FEMA's not here. Ebola's not here. We are all having a good time. And in fact, the man that you see right out there is burning tonight at 9:30. We're burners come rain or shine. We actually have all been having a pretty decent time. Can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for the people at the hospital and the people that I'm surrounded by, which is a pretty large chunk of the city, and we're all okay. We're going to burn the man tonight. It's going to be a blast. We're all okay.
Well, there you go. The doctor said it. Trust the science. I mean, that's the doctor that probably take you in the tent, make it a sweat lodge, and burn some incense to heal you. But, she'll let you stare into the rock while she pours some oil over your head. She's got crystals. But she says they're burning the man. They're burning the man. Did they burn the man? I'm assuming they did.
I didn't get confirmation just yet, but I believe they're going to. Now, I personally would be a little hesitant to burn anything in effigy after the Lord has smited you with a foot of rain in the middle of the desert. But I'm not a Burning Man fanatic, so.
After he sent a plague.
Yeah.
After he sent a plague and locusts and rain and frogs.
I don't know how much more you need to call off the orgy tent, but apparently they're committed.
Turn the waters into blood. It's like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. They're pulling people's hearts out while they're still beating.
Yeah.
Out there and calling that a good time. I mean, you remember the good old days you came back from Burning Man with herpes? All it took was just a treatment plan.
Yeah, that was all you came back with was a curable STD.
Yeah, now you're coming back without a kidney and a liver because they had it for dinner.
Yeah, I did enjoy Diplo and Chris Rock. Upon immediately reading this, you just see them getting taken out by a pickup truck, and I'm sure they immediately found someone and said, "I'll give you $5,000 to get me the hell out of here."
Yeah, we go up to Rednecks with Paychecks in St. Joe, Texas, and we get pissed off when there's not a little bit of rain, and we got to add water to the 12,000 acres out there to create mud. These people get less than an inch, and it's a crisis. I mean, there's claims of an Ebola breakout and all this kind of stuff, which I never believed any of that anyway. Sara Gonzales, who's not here to defend herself, told me off the record. She said, "I'm actually sad that wasn't true." I don't think those were her exact words.
Yeah.
She's not here to defend herself, but so let's just believe it anyway. Okay?
I'm with her on that. We wouldn't miss too many of them.
Yeah, we don't need that level of plague.
No.
But like in Texas, we're like, lock in the hubs. This is going to be a party.
Yeah.
Let's go do this. I mean, listen, I have now done shows in tornadoes, in floods. I've done shows while ice outages were happening here in Texas. I've now done one with an earthquake, and I've done one in a hurricane in La Jolla a couple of weeks ago. This is a resilient comedy tour. Resilient, I tell you. I am going to be in Kansas City, and I pray that there will be no natural disasters, okay? I don't want to wake up in Oz in next week. All right, there's a podcast I think you guys are going to like. And some of you need to go listen to this podcast after listening to me this week because you need some redemption in your life. The world has gotten wild. People have turned the truth upside down. They do it all the time. Kids are being misled. Marriages are falling apart. Christian values that held this country together are going out the window. So it's a good time to share God's truth, more now than ever. That's what the podcast Refocus with Jim Daly is all about. You know Jim Daly, he's the president of Focus on the Family. If you don't know about Focus on the Family, then you need to take a look at them. Great Christian organization. They've been helping families follow their faith for over 40 years, and Jim Daly's been the president for almost 20 years. So he's helped millions of people share God's truth, particularly about your family. So he knows his stuff. On the Refocus podcast, Jim talks to other experts about things you probably deal with all the time. You know, how to share your faith in a cancel culture, dealing with woke politics, all that fun stuff. So go check out Refocus with Jim Daly on Spotify, Apple, anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Refocus with Jim Daly. Hang tight. We'll be right back. So back on Tuesday, Karine Jean-Pierre, I love her so much. I love her so much. She said President Biden's going to be masking while indoors and while around people. She said that on Tuesday. So COVID 2.0, it's here, folks. It is here. It is here. And maybe if you, not even going to go there. I was going to say maybe if you make a joke about the lady boy that got misidentified or whatever. You know they're going to make that a crime here in America pretty soon. Like if you do something like that, you're going to get penalized for that.
They're already making it a crime in like the UK and Europe. Yeah,
they're doing it.
There's going to be very few states I can go to once that becomes a crime. I'm going to be a criminal.
Yeah. And this is why, back, last week, Joe Rogan and Bill Maher were saying, BLM and the progressives, the woke activists, they're basically like the KKK. Because, again, they, these woke politics, they label everybody. And that's the thing. All these guys like the lady boy there. That was misidentified. This person, let's say that girl's what? She was in a bar, so she's over 21. Say she's 23 years old. Her prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed, and we can see that based off of what we witnessed in the video. So she's still, developmentally lobotomized. But we're not going to hold that against her. But we're going to say, okay, she's an adult. Let's say she's 23 years old. How long has it taken her to come up with what her identity is? She's still struggling with this. It'll change in 6 weeks. She, by the way, is a person who's constantly putting the TikToks out there that are describing what all the different genders are. So she's coming up with all kind of BS. I mean, her vocabulary changes with the wind quicker than the weather at Burning Man. And so I'm supposed to identify you. You're coming in with the makeup. You got on a girl's top, blouse, whatever, the tank, whatever she's wearing. And that guy, the bouncer at the door, or the bartender, is immediately supposed to know that she's not a lady. He was just trying to be polite, respectful. He's supposed to know that. Now, it's taken you this 20 years to figure out what you are, which is still fluid, your word. And yet that guy's supposed to know immediately what you are. And if he doesn't get it right, he's penalized. That's some bullshit, man. I don't like that level of logic we're moving into. That is some postmodern existentialism that I just can't live with, and I won't do it. All right, guys, Kansas City next week. Get your tickets at watchchad.com where all the fun stuff is. If you haven't already, subscribe to Blaze. Have a good weekend. We love you. God bless you. Bye.